All right.
Alright.
Well, looks like we're going to be seeing the repicks coming in. They can ban whatever they want, obviously, because they're locking in the exact same champions they had before. And it looks like they remembered that halfway through, and now they're banning random champions.
Okay, so we're gonna have a good show here. Shyvana top as well against Ryze. Maybe Shyvana pretty much zoning Ryze away for as long as possible in the earlier stages to try to not let him scale faster. But it's just the inevitability as Ryze of just him getting that mana, getting his health, and just becoming a huge late game threat. And Yuki's gonna have to be very, very careful later on, especially as a Lucian against Ryze.
Might see a 2v1, of course. Ryze
Very
is very,
true.
very susceptible to 2v1s, and you've got an Elise jungle to use the repel to break the tower aggro. You've got quite a bursty duo lane as well with the Thresh CC, the Lucian burst. All of it adds up to smelling a bit like a 2v1 to me.
Mm-hmm. So that's also another option, just like you said, for G2. The same could be said for, SK. They could mix things up a whole lot, send Ryze bottom themselves. Why not? And try to mess with the Shyvana a little bit, but I highly doubt they want to do that. And I
You
feel
go
like
with
they
like
might
a
be standard
super early
lanes.
invade just to get the vision,
Yeah.
to see where the enemy duo is going.
Why not? Yeah, try to do it. And I feel like if everybody just started ghosts from now on, they could make it to the opposing enemy's jungles faster and go for the earlier invades with the 30-second ward drops. But
I'd
that's
bother
just
with Ghost. Just go with TP. Have one
No.
guy run out with Ghost and drop a ward.
There we
You
go.
got a more
man.
useful summoner spell.
Why are we analysts or coaches? Why don't we make these ideas?
If a team played that strategy, I'd cry, but it
Not
would
for
be
a pro
crying
team,
of joy. Definitely joy and not embarrassment. So, yeah, guys, going into the delay timer now. So, feel free to check out our sponsors, ProBuilds.net and Logitech. We're just going to be going into the delay timer, as I say. Commercial break coming in. See you after this.
Welcome back here. We're into the final game of the best of 3 between SK and Gamers2. We're on to the Rift. We're ready to go. And after Gamer2's last performance, maybe they had a warm up after that first game. I'm not Spuddington. I'm
Yes,
Egad.
you are.
And joining me here is Spuddington.
I'm Egad, and I'm a terrible person or something.
Aw.
Yeah. Ha! Take that.
I'm Spuddington. I smell.
I mean, you got a point, but you don't have to say it
All
in
right,
public.
we're in the game. We're good to go.
All right. So yeah, we did actually have a pause timer. Don't know if we mentioned that or not, but regardless, in game as we are now, SK Prime looking like they're just playing it fairly defensively here. Interesting that they have Smitty trying to kind of cover two entrances at once here. Put down his trinket ward to cover the up area, and he's covering the Wraith camp himself. Does look like they are going to be just farming it up, starting off reasonably safely. We do have Gamers2, however, looping around. We are expecting a 2v1 here, of course, so they may just be in position to be in the lane.
Yeah, very true. I think they're gonna actually force this 2v1 on Smitty J and give him that unfavorable matchup, as well as just send JWoww down bot, let him do his thing on Shyvana, tank up the waves, and get whatever farm he can underneath turret. Against Caitlyn Braum, the Caitlyn Braum should have absolutely no problem farming.
Yeah, indeed. Shyvana will she'll get harassed out slowly, but it's not going to be nearly as bad of a situation as it will be for Ryze in the top lane here. Especially considering Elise's starting red buff. She can get her level 3, she can look to gank top lane, and if there isn't a jungler in the area, Smitty J will be in a lot of trouble. Of course, Gilius has taken the correct jungle path to be there, just in case that 3 versus 1 3-minute timing does come in. But it's going to be interesting to see what transpires if that does.
And also, it's taking this LeBlanc into the mid lane. He played it the first game and had a really underwhelming performance on it. So we'll see if he can do better this time. But Wadafox played Yasuo mid lane and had a really rough time against Kale. This time he's not completely countered out, so we'll see if he can do better this game. And just Ryze is actually in the jungle right now, getting some extra XP off of Gilius and leeching some of that. So looking to go back to top lane, possibly at level 2 after he helps finish the red buff with him.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to plan on getting Ryze in position, getting him some XP, and holding. They may actually start losing some CS to the tower, though, so slightly smarter push there from Gamers2 being a little bit quicker. Kill a couple of creeps to the tower and still get to freeze the wave. Build it up to be quite big. Ryze Heads up there. Looks like they're just going to go for the two-man hold.
That's not a bad response to the push that's coming in from them. And if Yuki or Dude do have a overextension, they could have a bit of a tough time trying to survive that. JWoww though is just going to be perfectly fine sitting on the turret, just farming on up. And we could see Morton look for a very early gank on this lane too. Braum doesn't have the most mobility, but he can just use that get behind me ability and dash towards his ally.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Gamers2 heading up to the, looking at this top lane here, are going to have a better time than, if they do a two-man hold, essentially, Gamers2 will do much better because they have better wave clear on both of the champions involved, and there's no real all-in potential from SK Prime, whereas if Gamers2 could land a cocoon on Caitlyn.
They get the prison onto the they get the Sonic Wave Resonant Strike, as well as the Tempest Cripple. They do exhaust, though. Yuki's doing a bunch of damage to Gilly as they force him back, as well as Smitty J Ignite in the mid lane onto Waterfox as well. He's dangerously low, and his passive does get popped. Oh, man. And he will be forced to go back.
Propped. I don't... The word in between. Regardless, though, they did try for the all-in on SK Prime, so I'm a little bit surprised that that did happen and didn't happen in the bot lane from Gamers2, but as it is, Smitty J does get his TP in, does get back to the lane, and he does have a bit more health. Yuki now a little bit lower on the mana front, so it's going to be easier for Smitty to stay in and at least not get bullied out completely.
Alright, and Ocelot has secured a minor lead in the mid lane too, so he's doing a bit better against this Yasuo pick. Oh, Smitty does get hit by the hook there. Flayed back as well into a bunch of damage from that harass from Yuki, so good combination for them again. But Smitty has a bunch of biscuits and heals up. Oh, the Cocoon connected through the 90 caliber net. Morden's going and they force the heal and the flash out of him. Zaitan taking up a bunch of damage as well with that shield and the get behind me. So, good job by the Braum support coming in. First time I'm seeing him here, at least in the EU event, so good to see Zaitan playing him and showing a strong protection value that Braum brings.
Yeah, this is actually something that was run yesterday. Braum Yasuo, that's a scary combo. It's one of the most difficult to avoid knockups, long range, sets you up beautifully for the last breath, so you've got to be very, very careful when it comes to team fights against this composition from SK Prime. Now, of course, thinking of the mid lane, Waterfox is actually doing a pretty good job. He's not having any trouble in this lane. He's farming himself up, and that is definitely a far cry from the game before this one.
Oh, they're trying to get the stun. They do end up getting it into JWoww, though. They're looking for the passive again, but it has a big cooldown timer. JWoww could be able to just run away and save his flash, so he'll be forced to go back. He'll buy up. How much money has he got? 800. Could get the Amp Scepter. Could get some armor to just go straight for the tank build. We'll find out. Tier was already built up by Smithy in the top lane, though, so he's going to be stacking it up and trying to become a late game rise a little bit early on.
Interesting that JWoww chose to go for the Doran's Blade and the boots. Boots I can understand definitely wanting, but I was expecting Chain Vest and a few pots there. Instead, he has gone for the Doran's items. Will give him early game, definitely. Probably still not as good for in terms of his staying in the lane as a Chain Vest would have been, but now we do have a pause timer coming in as What the Fox is disconnected.
Alright, so he's going to restart his client, he'll be back in. And Morden was looking for a gank, but there were frantic back pings coming in from SK as they do not want to have Waterfox have a bad time in that mid lane. So he's backing up already and they just pause so he gets away. And this early game, it looks actually fairly even. The 2v1 lanes are actually even as well. Normally you see the 2v1 lanes get like dove 3v1 or 4v1 or something like that, but this time around, no like 3v1 dives or 3-man pushes coming in. Just straight up farming. Yeah,
there is a slight advantage that's been gained by Morden just because he's had more freedom to roam around the map than Gilius, who's been stuck defending Rise quite a lot, but he hasn't made much happen with that advantage. So, yeah, you're right. They come out roughly even. And SK Prime's teamfight is really quite scary. If they are allowed to scale up to get their items, you can already see Smitty starting to stack up his tier, they will be very difficult to deal with. Of course, Gamers2, they're not a team-fighting team, and they're split pushing, they're picking, all that stuff is very, very good, but they may never need to worry about that even if the farm does happen.
A nice little poke fest coming out from Ocelot. They're just completely bursting him down. It looks like Zaitan may have DC too as soon as Morden was coming in for a gank. So a little bit of, I guess, lag possibly for them. But
welcome to EUS, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, I've heard the rumors. I've read the posts. Good thing I'm on good old American servers, I guess.
The super reliable American servers that never fail. I mean, really, where you want to be clearly is Korea.
Yes, 5 ping. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what ping I would have from here, but clearly I should move to Korea in order to. I'd automatically become better at League of Legends as well. So
OG and Spuddington.
It's a win-win. Well, I'm not saying I'd become that much better at League of Legends, but better because there's just aura. There's like aura buff in Korea, improved video games.
Okay,
Enter it, and like the buff timer appears on the bottom of your screen. And
you mean curse voice? Oh, we have that in America.
But that's not what I meant. I do not support buff timers. I always thought it was stupid. But Unpause coming in right now, and this bottom lane could be interesting.
All right, so wow, I guess Litan gets the behind me as well as the shield and is able to protect Zai's or Haydal. It looked like he kind of jumped across the screen for me there. I don't know if that was lag, but they're living, they're fine. They're gonna go back to base.
It's a reliable server that's working as intended right now. It does actually look like Morden is not done though. Zaitan's got to be careful. If he gets stunned, it can be hard to lead in.
They're just gonna dive on top of him. He's got nothing to go to protect to or jump to. He's gonna get cocooned up and taken out. Oh, there it is. All right, auto attack from Morden and Spiderling finish it up. And good dive by Morden there.
Yeah, picks up the kill, and they will be able to just farm that out as well. Obviously, doesn't deny Caitlyn her farm here. They're not going to be able to take the tower off it, but still not a bad choice there to get the kill and leave Elise securing some advantage with the ability to roam that she has had. Now Gilius has also been released from this top lane. Looking towards the mid lane area.
Oh yeah, Ocelot popped the
into last breath.
Yeah, so you gotta be very, very careful with that. Knockup doesn't connect, Sonic Wave does! And it's gonna be the go to the clone! Oh! What the fuck gets baited? He's gonna die to the turn and the distortion! Ocelot with an amazing play!
Yes. I mean, Ocelot, no, do not take anything away from Ocelot and what he did there.
The clone doing most of the work there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's part of Ocelot, so credit goes to the general manager of the situation in the form of Ocelot. But yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate mistake there. It does look like they're probably going to be regretting that because up to that point, Yasuo is fine in the lane, and that may actually change the dynamics of how far LeBlanc is ahead. Meanwhile, bot tower does drop.
Alright, so they give up one global objective, they get the kill in mid, but a nice first start of the game for SK. That's some well-needed gold. They're still down by 2 kills though, and still down by a rough 300 gold, but that really is not too much of a point to make. Blue buff though gets passed over to Ocelot, and Fox is farming up his jungle. He actually hasn't had enough time to pick up an Avarice Blade or Zeal. He just went straight for the Zerker Greaves.
Well, attack speed is a very, very good stat on Yasuo. Underrated even compared to the crit on him. And Berserker's Greaves gives you a lot of attack speed for your money, as well as giving you the movement speed, which is nice on Yasuo, of course, because he gets his shield back faster, but now we're taking a ton of damage.
Oh, also looking for another kill, gonna use that fresh blue buff, but a nice wind wall to stop the Sigil. He's gonna get chased out here by Morden as well, so we'll see if that chase evolves into a kill. They repel in, they dash in, he flashes over the wall into the blue, and Braum is coming in for a cutoff as well. They ping onto Braum, but up top they're fighting, and it's gonna be Lee Sin going in. Yu's gonna pop the box and flash away. Safeguarding away is Lee Sin. Yuki's gonna take a bunch of damage from Smitty, and he'll actually end up walking into a wall. Flashes forward, doing a bunch of damage. He's gonna get exhausted though. The culling and the flay from DU to pick up the kill. As they ping onto Gilius as well, they want to take him out. They're bloodthirsty.
I think this is becoming probably the most common mistake I'm seeing on an individual level, is people just not thinking about the fact their opponent has exhaust before going for the all-in. It was a completely correct play otherwise, but yeah, backfired pretty badly when you suddenly lose more than half your damage, so bad times.
I kind of feel like he thought the support had heal. I think people haven't adjusted to the fact that supports can now take exhaust and ignite since they nerfed the heal just a little bit. Maybe. Or maybe he thought it was down.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think it's probably just like he saw the situation as it was, but didn't think about the cooldowns on summoner spells in general, let alone whether the exhaust specifically was available. So unfortunately, that costs you. You can't afford to make that kind of mistake in a competitive setting, and I don't think Heidel Ziz is going to be able to hold this bot tower. Oh, maybe he will.
I'm busy.
You? Oh dear. So, you guys appears to have had some kind of issue there, but Waterfox in the mid lane right now, going to be just farming this outright, doing much the same in the top lane. Gamers2 have built themselves a little bit of an advantage so far, but nothing as dramatic as we have seen in the previous game. I believe that was
Lag. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, you're back. Lovely.
All right, we're good to go.
I was worried because I heard the disconnect from the channel sound. And I'm like, oh dear. Well, solo casting. But fine, I don't like solo casting.
We're good to go though. But Dragon getting warded out, gonna get pinged out as well. Dio and Yuki gonna rotate themselves back down to bot lane. Gonna continue to farm her up, keeping the relic shield as well as keeping his sight stun rush and the mobility boots. So looking to be a very mobile and excessive Thresh.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to set up place for place. Not going for the massive cooldown reduction build that we see sometimes on Threshes, but right now, Death Sentence is going to be a very valuable thing, as is Cocoon. Looks like the vision fight is going to start out here for the Dragon, and whoever can catch someone out is going to come out well on top in that situation.
Very true. So Morden kind of hanging around towards mid. He does get pinged up by a ward. They may look to bait this one out for Gilius, while JY and Smitty, just do the little poke fest up top. We gotta be careful. There's the burnout. There's the Dragon's Ascent. He's gonna look to go all in on this one, but doesn't have a cutlass to slow him down, so he's gonna be able to try to outrun him, and he will actually be able to do so. Chugs of potions, mana, and he'll just go back to farming.
That was pretty fortunate timing on the level up for Smitty there, because it procced his catalyst, so he got the health and mana regain, crucially. Getting the mana back meant that JY suddenly thought, oh wait, this guy actually has damage. This all-in is suddenly a lot more risky than it would have been otherwise. As it happens though, it's going to result in JY still be taking the advantage, pushing out and forcing his opponent back, but here comes the push on the bottom tower.
Wow. That was a lot of good damage on Waterfox. Double distortion as well. He's going to go back in, flashing the tornado. Really good job by Ocelot. Ignite ticks away as well with the auto attacks, and Waterfox will go down in the 1v1 again.
Yeah, well, that's the consequence of getting a ham-fistedly failed gank on the mid lane before. And here comes Dio.
Oh. Death Sentence comes in. The shield does not block that one. He gets flayed even further in. There's a knockup from the ultimate. He walks into the wall, though. Doesn't flash through. They flash forward. Into the piercing light and the auto attacks as well to pick up that kill. Are they going to dive on the Haydal is the question. They take the turret, and the answer is going to be yes. When that Cocoon comes back up, and the Death Sentence Cocoon connects. No, it does not. And it will be the 90 caliber net to save his life. Meanwhile, Lee Sin comes in for the possible counter gate. Flash! And the... Wow!
Exhaust!
He heals! He heals and exhausts through it, and they do end up taking out Gilius. Now Yuki's going to chase down, possibly. Nope, alright, Haydal's going to be able to run away. But a really well-played counter gank, I guess, by G2, but now Waterfox is coming in, but he cannot find the distance in as he dashes forward and can't connect.
Yep, the exhaust bait claims another victim there. And that was a very fortunate time as well by Ziz. His net came up like maybe 0.2 of a second after the Cocoon, so Morden fired it just as the net was being fired himself, or was about to connect just as it was being fired. So no one is strong enough to take the Dragon, but all this time, Gamers2 are building themselves up a little bit more gold advantage here and there. They don't have TP now though, so maybe SK could make the play on the Dragon.
We'll find out. There is a ward over there for SK. It hasn't been warded up just yet by G2, but we're going to see Dude make his way over there, as well as the Soul Wraith over there. They had to clean it out and make sure that the race reset. The matchup between JWoww and Smitty now, it's heavily in JWoww's favor. He's got a Sunfire Cake completed while Smitty's still working on those scaling items and getting all of his mana and damage up. And there is a red buff on JWoww, so he can trade pretty well, but I think Gilius is going to have something to say about this as they look to make the gank attempt up here. Ward jumping over the wall, Sonic Wave Resonating Strike connect through that one, but they cannot slow him up. There's not enough energy for the cripple, so JWoww is going to be able to run away, but Morden comes in for the counter gank, and they're going to try to turn on this one. They kick him into JWoww. A bunch of damage coming in from the poke from Smitty, but they're going to look to disengage here, so Morden effectively saving JWoww's life from the chase, and going to go clean up with blue buff and give it over to Ocelot. And the culling down bot as well, going into the Haydal, but not doing too much damage, but the piercing light did end up connecting through the wave, so doing a bunch in itself.
Yeah, and Yuki has come out well, very, very dominant right now. He is very difficult to deal with. He's got his blue buff now as well, so he's he keeps spamming.
Holy cow, that did a bunch of damage to Haydal. And the piercing light connects again, takes him so low. That's 3 in a row for Yuki on those piercing lights. That blue buff is just doing so much work for him, and the cooldowns and just letting him spam out.
4.5 second cooldown now with the CDR on that Q, which means there are a lot of them, and they hurt like hell with the Bloodthirster build that he's gone for. The Gamers2 are looking very, very dominant, and they're starting to apply this split push here. This 1-3-1 essentially, or one. It's more like, it's less of a 1-3-1 and more of a 1-2-1, and then someone that generally tries to be in 2 places at once.
They're gonna fight Gilius, they pull him into the blocks, he flays and gets the safeguard away. Death Sentence doesn't end up connecting. Yuki's gonna do a bunch of damage. They counter with the Braum ultimate though onto Dude. They're gonna try to stun him up. He flashes. They're slow coming in from Morden with the red buff and the auto attacks, repelling over the wall to Fox. He's gonna flash away. He's got Ocelot in the back. Safeguarding, they get the wall for the chain, but a distortion does so much damage. They catch Gilius out with a Death Sentence. And Tiyud goes big to help them get that kill. Morden secures it, and that's going to be the second dragon of the game over to G2.
Yep, and they get the push on in the mid lane as well. I'm not sure what the fuck was this?
They're going in, he gets the knockup, but no last breath. He flashes forward, gonna be able to pick up the kill, drops Ignite, and will they be able to save him is the question? The Lantern, yes, stops the last tick and keeps JWoww alive. Dude going big, also looking for some serious poke. Death Sentence connects on a Braum. Will they look for the dive is the question. They're gonna back off from G2's side and be content with the 1 kill they found and the life they saved in JWoww.
Gotta question the lack of the last breath, though. It would have been enough to turn the fight around. He wouldn't even have died, because What the Fox would have refreshed his shield had he done so there. So, slight misplay again there by What the Fox. Not having the best games on Yasuo, and definitely paling in comparison to what we've seen from Nukedog yesterday.
Oh, man. So, G2 are just completely rolling away with this game right now. They're taking it slow, though. They're being really precise with their rotations. They're taking dragons when they can. They're picking fights and abusing the lack of vision that SK has. If you look, most of the vision, actually all the vision, is in those 2 wards that are up top. One just faded, so there's that one at the entrance to the red. So they have to start warding up and playing defensive for the long haul in this game, because SK will not work out until the late game, where that Yasuo has 2 items and Smitty has his build ready for his rise.
That is the weakness of picking a late game comp against Gamers2, of course.
Whoa,
getting ahead.
Back up onto Ocelot. He gets the Lantern though into you. You're gonna be able to save him. Meanwhile, there's a culling and a Death Sentence to connect on his eyes. He's gonna get taken down. Oh no, gets the dash away, but double distortion from Ocelot secures the kill, as well as a Sigil to pick up the last hit on Waterfox. Zaitan in a really precarious spot as Smithy gets Death Sentence as well to you, having such a wonderful game, getting that Death Sentence. But meanwhile, Gallius finds the kill onto Ocelot in the meantime. He's gonna go back. Whoa, fancy feet coming out from that lead.
I'm not sure what the point of the fancy feet was, because he did just blow his flash for it, but yeah, he did manage to catch out Ocelot as well, so props to him for all that, but it's just irrelevant compared to the train that Gamers2 is currently running over them. They just about to take another inner tower here, or sorry, their first inner tower here, and they're taking so many kills in these fights, and they're so dominant now in terms of vision control. It's just going to get worse. We've seen how hard it is to turtle against Gamers2. They are experts in cracking turtles.
Julius, he's gonna get bound up, cocooned, and everything comes out. He's gonna fall. Morden takes him out. Braum was there for some backup, but a little too far away. Now, G2 has to make their way out. They're still pretty strong. I think they could continue to fight, but they're gonna just back out and play it safe. Repelling over the wall. JWoww looking for the Lantern, but maybe forced to use his dragon to to get out of here. There it is. And he does aggro Baron, but Yuki in the meantime, let's do it. Let's push him by. Yeah.
That's so cute. He just wasted so much time with their opponents.
Are they gonna
They're gonna try the Baron.
What? They don't have smite. Uh-oh.
Well, they've got, this is like the only thing they can do. Like, they have no choice but to try this, and it's gonna fail.
Oh, he just almost got one shot. There it is, the Spiderling for the last hit there. They're taking so much damage from Baron Pit. It's like they're just stuck in the pit. Ocelot finds the kill while dashing over, but Zeiss will pick him up. They're gonna let Lord Baron? Oh, I thought they were gonna let Lord Baron finish off Haydal.
That would have been cruel.
That would have been very cruel, but now here comes Shyvana teleporting into the back. They flay Zeiss in. He's gonna go back towards Baron. Nope, Death Sentence from TU denies him that one. Meanwhile, Yuki and Gilius are just 1v1ing. Auto attacks coming out. Yuki has enough damage. And the ace, an 18-2 G2 should be able to close out, or the GTs come out and this game is done.
That is true there. So Gamers2, bit of a stumble in the first game, but they came back to what we were expecting. These last 2 games are what I was expecting from the beginning of this series, and I'm curious as to exactly what it was that misfired on their on their first game.